So the absolute reprobate who's in office right now, running the United States of America, has decided that it was a good idea to start defunding an ocean monitoring system, which, by the way, it only accounts for 0.000561% of our budget, which is basically nothing. That's not even a rounding error. That's less than a rounding error. And let's talk about it. So there's a little story here. I've seen this from Fact Post. It says the Trump administration has dismantled the ocean monitoring system that tracks climate change, supports fisheries, and observes marine ecosystems. And it's basically about the Ocean Observatories Initiatives, or what we call the OOI. And it's a National Science Foundation funded deep oceaning monitoring network. And it's not just like one buoy or like one weather station. This is a large system of moorings, gliders, seaforth sensors, cables, instruments in the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean that have been collecting real-time data for about a decade now. Now, this network here has about 900 plus instruments, which are, again, continually monitoring various different things within the ocean and its ecosystems. But what is now happening is this is being defunded by about 80%. Right, so now we're going to lose a lot of that valuable data that we were once gathering, which is useful for telling us things about everything from climate change, coastal conditions, upwelling, marine heat waves, fisheries, again, anything with the ecosystem. Now all of this stuff is, again, on the back burner now because 80% of their funding is gone. It has been ripped away. And this is not something that should be a surprise to many of you guys, especially considering people like Donald Trump do not even believe in climate change. It's not even a belief, it's a fact, right? But people will argue that. Now, the question becomes, to me, why is this something, where we're getting the bang for our buck? Are we pressed for money? And the answer is yes, we're always pressed for money, but where are we getting our bang for our buck here? And the answer is absolutely. Now, this is not going to be something that covers every single square mile of the oceans. I looked that up. That's not how it works, right? Essentially, you have multiple different arrays, and there's like certain areas which are mounted a little bit more heavily than others with all of these different instruments, but, they're all around. And, in coordination with things like satellites and whatnot, you're able to get a pretty good understanding of the oceans. And so for literally literally 0.000561% of the budget, right, we get to monitor a majority of our oceans here and get some of this extremely, extremely valuable data so that way we can make informed decisions moving forward with respects to the policy regarding our oceans. I think that it's worth it. I think that we should spend $39 million, which is, again, nothing, right? It's nothing. Now they only have about, like a few million that they get to spend now, which is just like, it's just absolutely mind blowing to me, right? With that said, I just want to say, if you're a conservative, right, and you're looking at this and you say, okay, well, what are some things that prominent conservatives have done in the past, to protect our environments? Because, we're like the outdoorsy types. You have to ask yourself, does this align with anything that protects the environment? And I think the answer is no. I don't know. Maybe I was ranting there a little bit, but does this protect the sea life? Well, inevitably, no, it's not going to. Has he done other policies as well that can actively harm this? Is this like a one-off? The answer is no. Obviously, they're super pro drilling in the middle of oceans and protected areas. All the time they're trying to remove certain animals and protected species. From different, all these different lists and whatnot, so that way they can come in and, start chopping down things like trees and whatnot. In fact, I believe he even just signed an executive order the other day, which allows for, the national forest to be chopped down to a large extent, which is not actually as big of an issue as you might think, but it still is an issue and one that we have to grapple with. Is this going to get any better? And I can't imagine that it possibly will. And in fact, now we're going to lose probably 2.5 years of data now because we want to have this guy, take control over our country. I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem like a good win to me. And God forbid when this guy runs for a third term, we're just going to lose all this data now, right? And we can't rely on other countries to do this. Maybe they don't have as many resources as we do. Again, this is practically negligible. Could they, fund it? Yes. It's like, but we also are in charge of a lot of territory. And when you start to move away from that, well, then all of a sudden you again, get to lose data because you can't just encroach on people's, waters and whatnot. So, I mean, that becomes an issue in of itself. And so, I don't know. It just doesn't seem smart to me. If I were president of the United States, it's something that I would not do. How about this? How about we get fucking healthcare? Oh my God, is that a radical statement? Oh, but wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. We're ripping tens of millions of people off of healthcare, right? And slashing that with the big, beautiful bill and trying to slash even more people off each and every single day. Can we get healthcare? Healthcare, please. You ever see that meme like, healthcare, please? Right? I don't know. It's just a start, just a suggestion. Could we maybe end the violence that are going on in our schools, right? Could we maybe try to climb up the ladder in terms of our ranking in any capacity? I don't know. Can we maybe? Gosh, dude, this is a shocker. I know. Can we stop committing genocide in foreign lands? I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think that we should be supporting foreign wars. Can we try to tackle some of these before we start to defund our ocean monitoring systems? I mean, for God's sake. I mean, this is insane. Like, imagine you had to, dismantle like a whole 80% of a program that was, monitoring the land, for example. You think that that's stupid. So why is that any different with our oceans? I don't know. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video here. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for some more news. Again, been 2 months there. Took a little hiatus, but I'm on vacation now, so now I can try to stay in the loop a little bit more. And I love making these, so I just get to stay in touch. But anyways, we'll talk to you later. My name is Dr. Ian Phillips, and peace.